All right, let's do our weekly lap of the fish room. Let's take a look at each of the tanks, each of the fish, and I've got some updates for you today. About 15 fish have a new home, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and take a run around the room. We'll start here with the 210 gallon, and Big VA has looking good, but you'll see he has a tank mate that he didn't have before, and it is the green tear. The green tear has come over from the 90 and is looking really good. The fish were interested in him, and at one point had him kind of pushed up against the side of the tank, but then they just sort of lost interest and said, okay, well, I guess you're here, so here you are. So I was thinking he was going to get the kind of welcome that most African cichlids get when they arrive to a new tank, which is a little bit of a beating, and everybody's sort of asserting where they are in the pecking order. But instead, you can see he's asserting himself now. Salvini definitely doesn't want him messing around, but he's not backing off from much. Pretty tough fish, and I think he's going to do fine here. First hour, you could tell some fish, were challenging him, which is normal among cichlids. But now it seems to have settled down into everybody just sort of tolerating his presence. Firemouth doesn't know what to make of it. Salvini seems to be happy as long as he has this side of the aquarium, which includes his favorite cave over here behind that artificial plant. Oscars were real curious about him, but all they did was come up to him and sort of check him out. The only fish that really kind of made any kind of hostile move towards him was a little bit of the Jack Dempsey, a little bit of the Nicaragua, but it quickly just sort of wore off. But you can see he's actually gotten bigger than the Jack Dempsey, even though the Jack Dempsey was here a lot sooner, and I grew that green tear out from a fry basically. Chocolate cichlid. Look at the pattern on the chocolate cichlid today. Very often he's a solid color, but today he has a stripe pattern. A little bit of red, burgundy in the body. Two of them in here. This tank, of course, now just has a couple little plecos in it. You can see one right there resting on the rock. There's two of them in here. And that's all that's in here now. I had two coolie loaches, and I can't find them. I suspect they're buried. Maybe they buried themselves. I know they bury themselves in the sand sometimes. The two plecos are doing fine, you can see, and usually the loaches are inside the caves, but I can't find them. I was going to transfer them, and I can't find them. So either they jumped, and I certainly don't see any bodies anywhere, or they're buried. I suspect they're buried. They do bury themselves. Hopefully they'll come out and go into the cave, at which point I can take them out and put them in with the betta fish. All right, let's go over here to the 55-gallon planted tank. It's doing well, and I have now a group of 10 neon tetras as opposed to the 5 I had before. And as soon as I put the 5 in here, they all gathered up and started schooling around, which was really kind of cute. They've kind of separated out a little bit. There's a couple back there. They're a little startled over the camera work, I'm sure. But there they are. So they came out of quarantine. So now I have 10 neon tetras, 5 rummy nose, 5 Buenos Aires, 5 rasboras. I think it's 5 red serpas. I think it's 5 or 6 lemons, 3 cherry barbs, a couple plecos. Awesome couple. Actually, I think this is the only snail in here right now. This pagoda snail. And I've got that whiptail cat hanging around. There's his tail right there. Whiptail cat. Plants are doing okay. A little bit of black algae showing up. I've added some phosphate pads, and I'm doing small water changes just to kind of help the plants along, and of course using Easy Green. And there are root tabs in this tank. This is the 90-gallon, and I've added the additional silver dollars. These are the big ones that were here already, and it was real funny because when the three new ones were brought in, they huddled in between the 2 big ones, and the 2 big ones went into almost like a protective mode where they were kind of just making sure everybody would stay away from them. I'm sorry, I said 3 when I added 4. There are 4 small silver dollars now, smaller silver dollars. You can see them all right there. You see the older ones are much larger. I'm sure they'll catch up pretty quick. So now there's 6 silver dollars in this tank. I originally got them as dither fish, but I really come to like them a lot, just in general, and so I'm really enjoying them. As you can see, the bigger ones are kind of hanging out. The other fish are doing great. Here's that red collar sevrum. You hardly ever see him, usually hiding in the back corner. The geos are camera hogs. The AC Hecli, the electric blue Ochart back there. Beautiful fish. Red spotted gold sevrum. Thinks he sees some food. They jump sometimes, actually hit the lid. They'll hit the lid if they think there's a piece of food up there. That's a beautiful fish. Red spotted gold sevrum. The AC Hecli. I still have albino Hecli on my short list. Hopefully I'll be scoring some of those pretty soon. All right, let's go over here. You'll see an empty 29-gallon, except for there's a couple plecos in here, little baby plecos, and again some pagoda snails. But otherwise, this tank is now empty, just like the 55. The other 55 are now available as quarantine or hospital tanks, and I've moved the guppies are all now in the live bear tank. Let me cut down some of the light there so we can see it a little better. There we go. The colors are just great on these fish. I'll bring the light up just a little bit. They think it's feeding time. Beautiful colors. Looks like all the females are holding. One of the guppies, as soon as I put him in, started going after one of the platies, like trying to mate with her. It was a moment of confusion. But all the fish, there's a nearite snail back there. There's also a pagoda snail in here somewhere. Quarry. A lot of fry already in this tank. So I'm going to be getting more fry pretty soon. I may have to end up taking some to the local fish store. The Sprite is doing okay. Here's that one there. It's got some nice roots. A little brown in some sections. Probably needs a little bit of cleanup. Some of the stuff sprouting out the bottom looks good. Like that piece right there is really, really healthy. So maybe some of it is actually hitting some of the good substrate, the plant-specific substrate that is below this bed of sand. There's a new sprout. I don't know if you can see it. There's a brand new sprout coming out. It just sort of erupted from the substrate, so it's a good sign. A little pecco. So this is a very busy live bear tank. It looks like almost every female in here looks like it's ready to pop with babies to add to my little baby fish collection. These folks were not moved over. These fish here, the lyre-tailed platies, that's my next move. Got to move them over and put them in here as well. So I'm gonna have a pretty crowded 20-gallon tall live bear tank. Got to really make sure I stay on top of that maintenance, which I will. Bettas are doing great. I'll move the light over so you can see them a little better. I'm continuing to feed them once a day. Adjust the light here. They get fed once a day a variety of betta food. And there is a coolie loach and also some little baby plecos in the tank as well. There's one of the plecos over there against the wall. You can see him right there. Where's the betta? Betta's hiding up there in the Sprite. And this betta is being a camera hog like he normally is. Usually has a bubble nest going, which is usually a good sign. You can see his little bubble nest up there. Usually a good sign. Oh, there he is. Let's go over to the 300-gallon. These fish are doing very, very well. Eating, active, good color, interacting well with me. This is the way it is normally. I mean, sometimes, you know, again, when the lights are getting dimmed down or ramped up, sometimes the boss, which is that trout right there, will tend to kind of take control of the tank, but he is truly a benevolent tank boss that I'm very happy with. But all the fish you can see are looking good, waiting to be fed. The Fusco may be one of my most interactive fish. Maybe I'll train him to jump through hoops. So that's this week's lap of the fish room, complete fish room update. And any comments, share them below. Any thoughts or ideas or tips? I'm always learning, my friends. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're watching this in the live stream, let's get back to the live stream. If you're watching it on the replay as a standalone video, don't forget to sub and hit that bell and all that good stuff. Let YouTube know something good is going on. Let's keep the channel growing. The next target is 100,000 subscribers. It's an overwhelming and daunting target, but I think we can do it. All right, that's it for the update. Thank you, my friends, and a special shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you for your monthly support. You're very appreciated. All right, thanks.